So I think for all of us, if we're being honest, there's a part of us that wants to just, look good, look nice, turn to your neighbor and say, good morning, I'm fine, you're fine, everyone's fine. And kind of to be in that church culture where we don't go to those honest, deep places. And so because of that, what challenges have you faced as a pastor in moving people towards a real, vulnerable, real grace-based kind of way of doing church versus just a performance-based, we're all fine kind of
Hmm.
way of doing things?
Hmm. Challenges, boy, again, not to paint it with too broad of a brush, but I would say the challenge is just strictly pushing against that kind of religious culture that's inside of all of us. That you hit the nail on the head there, Nick. That we all do want to present this. I've got it figured out, and especially if we are influencers and leaders within a spiritual organization or a ministry, sometimes we reflexively will feel. And I can't let my bustedness show. I can't pretend to lead people where I haven't been, and that can get out of hand. That can get pretty unbalanced. Where next thing you know, man, hypocrisy is just knocking on the door of your performance there. And so my pushback, and I've kind of already alluded to that, has been to just always be as transparent as I possibly can. I stood in front of our congregation recently, and my wife and I have been married for 17 years, and we adore each other, and we're one of those couples that are, we got our problems just like anybody, but divorce is nowhere near, our mindset. We feel secure in our marriage, and we've worked on that a lot. And this is the thing I admitted to my people. We are currently going to counseling. There are certain things about our communication that we just keep going around the same mountain, and so we just got this place, and man, these little things that blow up into big things over the course of a few days, and it keeps happening. I'm not finding my way out of this, and I'm going to need some help. And I think that's been my weapon against that religious posturing, is to just be really quick to be as vulnerable and transparent as I can be as
Yeah.
the father of this house. And I'll say it this way, not that we're perfect in this, but it really has created a culture of vulnerability that
Right.
everybody's like, hey, if that guy up front can admit that he's going to counseling, like every time I've said that, we've gone to counseling, I've gone to personal counseling in years past, and I've had people come to me and be like, hey, I had one guy 2 years ago when I mentioned that, he's like, well, Pastor Ken, you just, forgive my language, he goes, you just screwed me over, man. And I'm like, oh, sorry, what do you mean? He goes, my wife elbowed me in the side. He goes, if Pastor Ken could go to counseling, you're going to counseling. And
Suddenly,
so it's just
counselors
like,
all over your area were getting phone
right,
calls.
yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, what you're saying is like it's okay to go get help. It's that quote we
Yeah,
talk about a lot. Healthy people seek help, and
yeah,
seeking help is never a sign of our weakness. It's a sign of our wisdom when we go get help. And thank you for leading that way. And I think just another thing, it's okay not to be okay.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
okay, and I want to
right.
go get some help for this. And I know you're in Sandy, Utah. I know
Mhm,
last month there was the Charlie Kirk shooting and the
mhm.
trauma of that has hit your community where people are not okay because of this
Yeah,
traumatic experience. And so trauma happens in our lives for a lot of us at different ages. And when it's not resolved or processed, it's stuffed. That's when it creates a lot of problems we find. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
I know that you've been helping your congregation and those in your community just process and grieve and get
yeah,
help to work through some of these life's painful situations.
yeah,
So thank you for modeling that firsthand.
yeah, absolutely. I'm not apologetic, but I just realized I'm wearing my Charlie Kirk t-shirt. I wasn't even thinking that about this interview when I threw this on this morning. But yeah, we've had some really good things come out of that tragedy. Speaking to your point there, Ronnie, that there's a girl that came the Sunday after that happened, and she hadn't been in church her entire life. Grew up in this area, predominantly LDS Mormon, and she goes, when I was a little kid, I had some of this going on, but I saw the footage of that happen, and I knew I needed some help. She was basically describing some PTSD. She's suffering with, and I baptized her last Sunday. And her whole thing getting in the door was just like, I need some help processing
Yeah.
this imagery. So we're pushing her towards some more professional help that can help her, and also being able to minister to her soul with the gospel in the meantime too.
Yeah.
Well, and what I hear you saying, Ken, and you share stories like that up front from your own life, you're saying we've all got our stuff. And no matter who you are, you've got stuff that you need to deal with. And sometimes we feel like our version of the stuff is a little better than others. So we're like, well, I'm okay. But if we're honest,
Yeah.
like we've all got something. And
Yeah.
I think one of the things we're trying to emphasize in the work we do is to say, like, whether your stuff is related to sexuality, to things done to you, to things done by you, it's not a separate category of stuff that we have to avoid, ignore, or act like it doesn't exist. Like, this is part of the human experience, right? We're made as sexual beings in the image of God by a good, loving God.
Mhm.
So all of us in some way are disordered in our sexuality because we're in a fallen world. And if we can create that environment, as you do when you share stories of like, hey, I'm a real person. I go for counseling. I've got my stuff. I have to deal with stuff to say, and we're all in that boat. I think then people start to feel that, okay, this is real. It's not just a few of us that need help. Like, this is all of us. And that can be a real game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.